labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo-katipunan, kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, punong at tulong, di pagka-blue eagle, galing hiding at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo-katipunan, radyo-katipunan.
Let us understand mental health and explore how we can take care of our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Welcome to your weekly slice of mental health tips and tidbits with Pat and B, here on Mind Ed.
Sa'yo sumisilong kapag ang puso ko'y pagod.
Radyo-Katipunan, 87.9 FM. This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Chola Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo-Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Nasistress ka na ba? Nagpapanik o natatakot dahil sa COVID-19? Normal lang ang ganitong mga reaksyon sa ngayon. Pero may magagawa ka para mapagtagumpayan ang sitwasyon na ito. Ituloy lang ang pangangamusta sa mga kamag-anak at kaibigan gamit ang text, tawag o video. Tiyakin na ang mga bata ay ligtas at nasa maayos na kalagayan. Gawin sa bahay ang mga nakasanayan upang hindi mabagot o mabalisa sa panahong ito. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan.
Are you feeling sore? We can make that better. Tune in to the Ateneo Senior High School's first radio program, SOAR, the Seniors On Air Radio, where you can listen to music you want, straight from our playlists. Don't change that channel yet, because SOAR is ready to put the you in youth. SOAR, Seniors On Air, here on Radyo-Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, radyo, radyo,
rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on radyo-katipunan 87.9 FM.
Sa sumpa sa iyo magpakailan pa man yakapin mo bawat sandali ang buhay ko sumpang sa'yo lamang alay at mapapawi ang takot sa'kin. Pangako wala hanggan. Ikaw lamang ang pangakong susundin sa takbo sa akdal, liwanagan ang daan, yakapin mo bawat sandali ang buhay ko sumpang sa'yo lamang alay at mapapawi ang takot sa'kin. Pagkataglay lakas mong angkin. Ikaw ang siyang pag-ibig ko. Asahan mo ang katapatan ko kahit ang puso ko'y nalulumbay, mananatiling ikaw pa rin. Sa sumpang sa iyo magpakailan pa man yakapin mo bawat sandali ang buhay ko sumpang sa'yo lamang alay at mapapawi
Ito na ba?
Di na ba tayo?
And we are live. Ayan. Welcome everyone to another edition of JMM Radio, the radio program of the Jesuit Music Ministry. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. It's
Magandang gabi po.
yes, magandang gabi, and it's the 14th of July this Wednesday evening. Sana po ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan. Ako po si Justin Pontino ng radyo-katipunan.
Ako po si Lester Mendiola mula sa Jesuit Music Ministry. Kami po ay inyong napapanood sa Facebook pages ng Radyo Katipunan, Ateneo de Manila University, Jesuit Music Ministry, of course, our artist pages. At kami rin po ay nasa YouTube at Radyo Katipunan at sa Twitter at Radyo Katipunan.
Nakalimutan mo ang Jesuit Communications, of course.
Ayan,
And if you are nakalimutan. And if you are, of course, within the 2-kilometer radius of the Katipunan and Ateneo areas, you can hear us loud and clear on your FM band. Just tune in to 87.9 FM. Kung hindi po naman, you can still go online via our audio streams at jescom.ph.
Yes.
Maraming salamat po
Ayan.
sa lahat ng sumasama sa atin gabi-gabi sa ating programa. And again,
Gabi-gabi na tayo, Just.
mali, every Wednesday ng gabi. Feeling, nako, oo nga, gabi-gabi. Pero anyway, sige. Moving on. Ang taas ng energy natin today. Bakit
Oo,
kaya?
kumain ako ng tsokolate ngayong gabi kasi kailangan, kailangan energetic ang ating hosting ngayong gabi.
Oo, no.
Yan.
hindi
Meron
tayo-
meron tayong mga kasamang mga co-host ngayong gabi.
Ayun naman pala, kaya naman pala
oo.
kailangan mag-pack up kasi medyo kailangan natin pantayan ng level ng hosting ng mga kasama natin. Mga co-host
Correct. Ang ating mga
tonight.
kapatid mula sa MindEd, si Bian Orenciana. Hi, B.
Yes, hi B.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Nandito na naman po ako. Jumping from show to show.
Oo. And dahil tumalon din siya ng programa, tinamay na rin niya ang host ng programang tinalunan niya.
Binitbit ko po siya, mga kaibigan.
Walang iba kundi si Maxine Cruz ng New Wave. Thanks for joining us, Max.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Thank you for
Max.
having me too. It's my first time here.
Yes.
Welcome,
And
welcome.
we will have an English translated show today because Hindi, biro lang po. Biro lang. Yeah, of course, si Max ang isa sa mga pinakabata nating host dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Kaya,
Yes. Okay, Just, ang ating napanood kanina ay may kinalaman sa ating panauhin ngayong gabi. Ito yung favorite na naririnig natin sa mga weddings, no? Yung
Yes.
awit na panunumpa, of course, performed by our friends from Hangad.
ang go-to song ng mga
Oo.
kasalan. Ayan, oo, yung panunumpa. At yun din, no? Yun din ang dahilan kung bakit ganito tayo ka-energetic, no? Kasi itong guest natin ngayong gabi, ayan, ang taas din ng level of energy na malalaman niyo yun mamaya as we go along with our program. Of course, ngayong gabi we are actually reminiscing JMM throughout the years. Ayan. Kasi since it's Ignatian month, no, naka-anchor pa rin tayo sa celebration ng ating patron, of course, no, yung feast ng ating patron si Saint Ignatius of Loyola. So we are actually somehow doing a throwback of the years that went by with JMM. Ayan.
Yes. In fact, Justin, this is just the first part of our series about the Jesuit Music Ministry kasi we'll have the other directors as well joining us in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so this is the first of the series, ika nga.
Yes, yes.
So yan. Anyway, sige. So ano bang gagawin natin? Magkakamustahan mo muna tayo o just like the usual? Siyempre, bigyan natin ng highlight ng ating mga bagong kasama ngayong gabi. Kayo ba, kamusta ba ang mga araw ninyo? After your show, kamusta kayo?
Kumain na ba kayo?
Kumain naman.
Quickly.
Sabi gano'n, pababa talaga. Kumain naman.
Oo, no?
Hindi,
Eh,
pero
yun nga.
kumain talaga ako kasi sabi niyo kailangan ng energy. So sabi ko,
Oo.
wait, magre-recharge na ako.
Oo.
So
Kaya-
yun, okay naman.
O ikaw, Max, nakahabol ka ba ng quick bite?
Yes, I was able to eat and yes, stock up on some energy.
Yes. Oh, parang biglang
Oo.
biglang nag-die down.
May
Anyway,
nag-retouch pa yan si Max, by the way.
hindi kasi hindi naman
Wow, the exposure!
mas retouch ang kinailangan ni Max. Ganun ba yun? But anyway, sayang yung energy natin pag nawe-waste ng ganito. So siguro baka kailangan natin i-spend it wisely. Dahil ayan na nga, napakita na sa ating screen ang guest natin. For some reason, nag-show up siya bigla. Ako pakilala na natin, Les, kung sino ang ating pinagpipitagang panauhin ngayong gabi.
Yes, ang ating panauhin ngayong gabi is one of the hosts of Kapet Pandasal. And he's one of the former JMM director. Isa rin siyang composer and currently he is serving in Ateneo de Davao. Ang ating guest ay walang iba kundi si Father Jboy Gonzales, SJ.
Yay!
Hi everyone!
Hi.
Hello!
Good evening
Kumusta
po,
kayo lahat?
Father.
Siyempre, nakakatuwa na guest ako ngayon dito sa JMM. Parang kailan lang talaga na I was in Manila. Pero now, here in Davao. Pero patuloy pa rin yung musika siyempre. Nasa puso, di ba?
Amen.
Ayan.
Yes.
Pati kayo sa mga fans niyo, Father. I'm pretty sure ang daming nanonood sa ating mga fans.
Max.
Yes.
Hello sa aking mga taga-subaybay at lahat ng mga nag-a-attend. Lalo yung mga galing Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Maraming salamat sa pagtangkilik.
Yes, ang social media, isa sa mga social media influencers natin yan si Father Jboy. Sa lawak ng kanyang network, di ba?
Correct.
Anyway, ayan, Father, thank you for joining us this evening. Syempre, ang lang naman natin ay magkakamustahan at magkukwentuhan about things. Of course, during your stint as the JMM director. Kailan exactly yun, Father? What was that year?
Dalawang beses. Yung pinaka-recent was actually 2003 to 2010 before I went on tertianship in California. So those were very exciting years. But there were times, yes, di ba? There were times prior to that. Yes, Bian.
Yes.
But prior to that, I've been, always in JMM from around 1991. Dated na tayo. I began my life.
Father, uso dito ang age reveal, Father.
Correct, very well.
Pero Father,
I began my life in Loyola House. I was already in JMM for several years. So there.
Okay. O yan, Father, pero before we go to your JMM story, magsimula muna tayo dun sa iyong vocation story. Ayun. So bakit nga ba, Father? Bakit ba ang mga Jesuita ang iyong napiling pasukan? Why not the other order, diba?
Well, if people ask me about, Father, are you true blue? That means I was raised by the Jesuits. I tell them, no, I'm not true blue. I am colorful. Yeah. Because I was raised by several congregations. I was baptized. I grew up in a Franciscan parish. And it was also there that I began playing the keyboard at Mass. I grew up with the Benedictines who taught me classical music. And then with the Dominicans who taught me the discipline of studies. And if you mix all of those things, and then I got to know the Jesuits through music. So it was also through music that my vocation blossomed and I began considering the Jesuits. Why the Jesuits? Well, the first thing is that I asked many of the congregations, can I be a musician? Well, to take music and then to take biology because I was into science, and not be in a course that is philosophy. All of them said, no, you have to take philosophy. But the Jesuits were the ones who told me, yeah, why not? So, so I was biology, and then at the same time, they encouraged me to develop my music. And so I was in the choir, I was playing the keyboard, etc., etc. So in other words, my vocation really started with music. And then at the same time, there is something else, food. I chose the Jesuits because during the vocation seminar and workshop, the food was fabulous. So aside from realizing how the music of the Jesuits are not very traditional, I have played Father Eddie Hontiveros, and the rest of the Jesuits during that time. But I also played Manoling Francisco and the early Bukas Palad. So they were using A major 7, B major 7, all of those jazzy chords. And I was surprised because I'm not very traditional. And I was saying, can they actually compose something like this, with a hindi kaya, pwede pala. So sabi ko, so this is the music I like. So because of that, I said I can find myself and I can imagine myself as a Jesuit in music, in science, but at the same time pursuing a vocation to the priesthood.
I just wanna comment, Father. Totoo yung food.
Totoo yung food.
Kasi grabe po ang JMM office ng time ni Father Jboy. It's a pantry. But more than that, we celebrated music with food and stories talaga. That's what I remember during Father
Yes.
Jboy's time as the director of the JMM.
It's
It is
like
Galing.
also my formula.
everyday celebration, ganun,
May
Father.
party, oo.
Yes.
Oo.
It is also my formula in youth ministry where I am now. In youth ministry, the formula is simply let them play music. Parang BTS, they don't have to ask my permission to be able to dance, to be able to sing, to be able to tell stories, to be themselves. That's exactly what we want to happen, especially in ministry. In youth ministry, you let them be and you let them appreciate their differences, whether the differences is about their belief. Kasi we have Muslims, we have non-Catholics, we have indigenous people as my students. And then at the same time, whatever gender they have, they just appreciate that all of us are children of God. So then, how do you do that? When they can create music, when they can sing whatever songs that they want to sing, when also they also appreciate eating together, because eating together means we are all equal. So that's just a formula and tell stories. And I think those are the three things that is important in ministry life.
Nice. Nice, galing. Si Mac's father is also, well, part of the youth. And also a musician.
Talaga, Max, anong tinutugtog mo?
Yes, I sing.
You sing? What
I
song?
sing.
Santum Ergo.
I was also in choir for a big part of my life.
Dahil siya
And things-
sample.
Oh,
Ay,
Sir
may
Justin.
JMM cover yan, si Max.
Yes,
Oh,
I have a
diba,
JMM
Max?
cover of Take and
Dagdagan mo,
Receive.
Max, ng BTS yung butter, for example. Habang kumakanta ka.
Naku, baka
O kaya
makapiright
yung
tayo, Father.
Yung mga ganun, yung meron kang ganun-ganun, di ba?
So, kailangan merong, may choreo.
Ganyan.
Perfect for
Sana
TikTok.
meron ganun-ganun din sa choir, di ba? Ganyan. Lord have
check out your,
mercy.
check out Max's TikTok.
What about yours?
Anyway, Father, balikan natin yung, of course, sikat na sikat po kayo doon sa inyong awiting panunumpa. But I understand that, of course, diba, this is very popular for weddings, and people think that it was actually written for that purpose. Pero
Yes.
I understand there's a different story behind this. So if, siguro for the benefit again of our audience, Ano po talaga yung reason behind or what's the kumbaga parang ano po yung naging saan niyo po inala yung awitin na yon talaga originally?
Yeah, I wrote Panunumpa when I was a novice. It was my first year in Sacred Heart Novitiate. There is somehow something happened to my family. My dad died while I was in my mission trials in faraway Bukidnon. To cut the long story short, I am the eldest. So I've been asking myself whether I should continue my vocation or not. But then that was the time that I was moving into the second year of novitiate when people are asking, well, my superiors were asking whether I'm going to commit myself to, to the Society of Jesus. Will I commit myself to God? And there was a story when I told my mom about it. My mom said, Jboy, you go. Because before your dad died, he said, let Jboy follow his heart. That to me was that to me was a religious experience. Why is it a religious experience? You get to see that my dad also struggled in terms of letting me go because he didn't want me to become a priest. He had other dreams, and because I was in science, he wanted me to become a doctor, etc., etc. I was accepted to major universities, but then no, I decided to follow my heart. That was painful for my dad. In fact, third year, I remember asking my dad, and my dad asking me, "Are you happy?" And then I said yes, and then my dad said, "Oh, masaya ka lang pala, di okay na ako." Ganyan. My dad brought me to the novitiate on May 30th, 1989. That would be my last time to see him because he died a few months after. So the decision, am I going to commit myself to God, is a very real decision making, a real discernment because you really do not know what will happen. Is this the right decision? What will happen to my family? But since my dad said, follow your heart, God will take care of us. From the very faith that my dad had to let me go, that spurred me to write that song. Kaya nga, di ba sabi ko na sa gitna ng lahat ng takot ko, basta alam ko na I commit myself to you. Naiyak ako, sorry. But, pero that promise to commit myself to God might be written in a song. Maybe 3 minutes lang yung kanta, 3 to 5 minutes ang kanta. Pero what people don't know is that it took a lifetime for me to live it out. It's where I am today. So that song is really a commitment to God. That's the real reason for that. No, it's not really for someone else. It is really a song dedicated all of my heart to God, who is my one and only love. Pedro Arupe, the Superior General of the Jesuit, once said that God is our one and only love. So what was the reason why it became a wedding song? Well, years later, Hangad was looking for songs for their first album. So so that song went into Hangad. It was even arranged by Paulo Terol, and it became a hit in a way in religious circles. They began singing it for vows. However, Loris Guillen discovered it. So when Loris Guillen discovered it, he asked me if it could be one of the pivotal songs in the movie Tanging Yaman. And sabi ko, of course, yes. For Jesuit music, the more it spread, the better. Diba? So someone said yes. But then Carol Banawa used, when she sang it, uso pa nun yung MTV. Yung MTV niya was a wedding.
Yes.
So that became the wedding song of many couples. But then I said, why not? Because, a song is not anymore yours once you compose it. Once it is out there, sabi nga sa philosophy, it requires a life of its own. The song becomes as the song of the singer or whoever sings it. So if for him or her, it is a song about commitment to someone whom they love, which is also a commitment to God. They are not separate. They are our commitment to God is seen in our commitment to people. So therefore, why not, di ba? so let them sing it according to their
Yes.
heart.
Yeah.
Agree.
Ayan.
Yeah.
So,
So
ang dami
yun.
kasi, Father, nagtatanong sa amin kung ano talaga yung story behind Panunumpa. So now that they know, probably our viewers will not sing Panunumpa the same way again. Ayan. Okay.
Sing it
Father,
with your
meron...
heart, with your love for God, because it's meant to be that way.
Yes. Father, there are other songs that you also composed for the Jesuit Music Ministry.
Yes.
Meron po ba kayong personal favorite sa mga
Actually, ang
awit?
pinaka-ano ko, yung recent na-record, yung Lord Have Mercy, kailang it's very classical. Kasi nga, the singers were the Ateneo Chamber singers. And then, I really wanted to write songs, really also for my orchestra, like the Musica Chiesa. So they're all classically trained, and we're also, my background is also classical. So I wanted to go back to my roots. So I wrote Lord Have Mercy with a descant. So the beauty of that Lord Have Mercy is the descant. Because it was more or less, I was inspired by Sarabande. That's a classical concept. So because of that, I wrote Lord Have Mercy. But if you just sing Lord Have Mercy as is, like just the melody, it's very, very simple. You just A minor, D minor, E7, and then that's it. No. However, because of the obligato, it acquired a certain grandiosity, grandeur.
May pagka-majestic, no,
Yeah,
Father?
because we were saying we do not want songs that parang tabi-tabi lang. Yung tipong gusto natin na yung brand ng JMM is intact. That means there is some classical tone to its music. Yun ang branding natin eh. At least during my time, that was the branding. There's a certain classical, sound. It's like the X factor that's difficult to explain, but there is that thing that you get to hear it when you hear many music of the Jesuit Music Ministry. And then because the talents of the people are singing it, like the Ateneo Chamber Singers, that's an international choir, world renowned. Okay. And then you have Musica Chiesa, and now they're all in the PPO. They're now ABS-CBN Philharmonic Orchestra. They're really great musicians. And they're also another story. It's good for us to know their stories. Nagsimula lang yan kasi nagpabindisyon si Carlo at saka si Silke and then they wanted to offer their talents to the Lord. It began that way, and now they're an orchestra for the Jesuit Music Ministry. I wanted to write songs for them because their ears is not really for the jazzy type like that of Bukas Palad or the hangad choral. But there is a different tone for the Ateneo Chamber Singers. Babagay sila with Musica Chiesa. So I wrote that song because of that in mind. So there. Ano yun, may dead air bigla.
Okay, Father, it's beautiful that you're sharing about like your side naman as a classical singer or a classical artist, kasi of course what we see usually now is yun nga how you are sa ministry, sa kape, sa ganyan. So ngayon it's really coming from yun nga from someone na naranasan po na maging JMM director kayo. It's really nice na nagsa-surface to ngayon sa ibang platform naman, and really understand kung paano yung JMM nun, the sound that we're looking for, and the sound na how music is alive basically in the songs and in the artists na nag-interpret ng mga work ninyo. So it's a beautiful story to hear and to share here in the show.
Yes, you see, JMM is basically, if you look at it, Jesuit. Okay? The Jesuitness of JMM is in its spirituality. And
Yes.
basically, this, well, of course, I will not go into, a thorough of Ignatian spirituality or Jesuit spirituality. But essentially, it is a spirituality that finds God in all things. Okay, and therefore, what is important in a Jesuit spirituality is a religious experience more than something that is doctrinal. Okay, alam mo yun, yung get
Mhm.
doctrinal, yung sinasabi nilang liturgical rules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Parang you're composing with those rules in mind. But for the JMM, we compose with the religious experience that we had in the
Mhm.
spiritual exercises. So the liturgical rules are wait first.
Yeah.
Before the liturgical
Yes.
rules, we compose because it comes from an inspiration.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why
Mhm.
even yung kay Arnel, ano nga yung kay Arnel? Naalala ko to, Out of Roads, because that's the English version. Yung ano nga yung Filipino
Jesus
nun?
ng aking buhay, Father.
Sa akin.
Jesus ng aking buhay. We were accused that, tingnan mo, Jesus ng ano to, environment na si God? Mga ganun ba? Because they don't understand a spirituality that experiences God in everything, including nature.
Mhm.
Okay, one famous
Mhm.
priest said that. But I said, isnabin nyo na lang ang trolls. Wala. Isnabin mo mga church trolls. The best judge of our songs are the people who sing it. You know why? Because when you talk about music, you're talking about the soul. If your song speaks to that soul, that is legitimately a religious experience.
Mhm.
You don't, to me, the liturgical rules is, yes, it should be appropriate, but then we are not, many of us composers, we compose because it comes out from a religious experience. If it
Mhm.
fits the liturgy, then well and good. If not, it's inspirational,
Yeah.
but it is a God experience, and no one can say that it isn't. That's why sometimes it's very hurting for when I was JMM director, that there are people who would say those things because they're pseudo liturgies, and so
Father, hanggang ngayon, ganyan pa rin eh.
maraming ganyan. Kaya sabi ko, those people don't matter what they say. The thing is, I've followed some of them and look at them, and many people say, dapat, pag nag-God, paakyat din yung notes mo. Fine.
Ah.
Pero pag bumaba yung notes ko, hindi, I will still get to heaven because
Mm.
because it is not immoral.
Mhm.
No, but if
Mhm.
people sing it just because it speaks to them, that to me is God speaking through that person and
Yes.
using composers and using music as the instrument. So to have that kind of judgment, to me, is very unfair. It's very easy. If you look at faith life, why are there haters? And then I look at it, they cannot even contribute something nice.
Eh.
Diba? Parang, teka muna, sige. Sabi mo malito at saka lahat na. Sige, contribute ka ng kanta. Diba? Pero
Yeah.
wala naman silang kino-contribute. So
Yeah.
there's something wrong with that and something evilness. There's an evilness into it. So,
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think nga, Father, kasi dahil nga dun sa, I'll borrow your term, yung evilness. I guess, kaya siguro mas kailangan pa ng mga katulad ninyo na spiritual composers. Ako pa, I'm a firm believer of, experiencing music, not just listening to it, not just hearing it, but really
yeah.
experiencing it, just to, get the grasp of the soul of the composer, the song, how
Mhm.
it speaks to you, how it speaks to your
Yeah.
heart. Ayan.
I
Well, in
agree.
fact, no, in fact, it's not about the composer, but that the song being used as an instrument by God. So it's more about God using your song to become the speech of the soul of the person who sings it. Kasi,
Correct.
I remember Father Eddie Hontiveros. Si Father Eddie, meron kaming sa Bicol, meron kaming pagkakamali actually. Sa Bicol, yung Jesus na aking kapatid was taught to us in 4/4. As in 4/4. Ginagamitan ko po yun ang tinatawag namin noon sa Yamaha na organ o kawai organ na tinatawag nilang mini pops. Yung mga mini pops, yung mga drums noon, di ba?
Okay.
Ganyan. 4/4 yung Jesus na aking kapatid. Yan. Jesus na aking kapatid. May bagay naman siya. 4/4. So when I got to Loyola House and they asked me to play Jesus na aking kapatid, sa atin nagkamali ako sa buong misa, sa buong kanta, because 3/4 ang original. People are we are supposed to sing it in 3/4. But then Monsignor Kiambao in Legazpi translated it 4/4. Okay. So I asked Father Eddie Hontiveros, the great composer, Father, what can you say about these people, for example, or those people who sing your songs in a different tempo or a different interpretation? And then you know what he said? If that will help them pray, let them sing it that way. Imagine, so it is not about him. It is not an egoistic composing. Yung tipong you are hurt just because may nangyari dun sa composition mo. Many artists are like that, no? But when you're composing for God, it's not about you. You are being used by God. It's in Deuteronomy, by the way. I forgot about it. It said, parang God said, teach this song to them so that they will remember where it comes from. So it is not about the composer. So it is about God, the source of the music. So yun yung sinasabi ni Father Eddie. And then there were many stories about Father Eddie. He said, magko-compose siya, pero nagkakamali yung choir. Ang gagawin niya, tatanggalin niya yung note na yon. Kung anong kinanta ng choir na mali, yun ang note ilalagay niya. So now we're singing many of those songs. They are singable because it was corrected according to the choir.
Correct.
According to their mistakes. But then,
I remember, Father
Eddie.
Kinukwento ni na Ate Treste yan, tsaka ng mga taga-Pansol Choir, how Father Eddie does that. Yes. Okay. Ang ganda nung sinabi ni Father about dun sa awit, no? Parang, yung sa akin kasi nag-resonate talaga yung Jesuit music kasi parang binigyan ng titik yung aking mga panalangin ng JMM. Parang the longest time that I've been listening to Jesuit music when I was young, when I'm not young anymore. Parang may age reveal pala talaga rito sa show na to, no? Yun yung pinaka nakuha ko sa Jesuit music. Max, go ahead.
Yes. Max, I think you have questions for Father Jboy.
Yes, I do. And most of them are about songwriting, actually. So a while ago, you talked a lot about how inspiration hits you and then you become a vessel to tell something that God wants to tell people through music. So my question is, how do you act on that? Like, I guess in technical terms, what exactly is your songwriting process and how do you bring your message forward through that?
There is no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a process. Sometimes it is music that comes. Sometimes, and a lot of it when you are in the CR. I'm sorry to say that, no, but sometimes when you're sitting on your throne and because you're not doing anything, sometimes there's a melody that comes in. Or when you're showering. Okay, that's why I tell them, the inspiration coming from music, it is really from God because ulitin mong gawin yon, hindi mangyayari. It comes anytime. Hindi mo pwede siyang parang experiment if you have a controlled, hindi. It comes anytime, wherever you are. All you have to do is to remember the melody. Okay, that's first. Sometimes you are inspired by lyrics. For example, I compose Kapag Wala Ka Na. Marami akong love songs, by the way, pero hindi pwedeng JMM. So Kapag Wala Ka Na at saka Sa Lihim Kong Paraiso, there were two songs, but they were written by my best friend. So I was inspired by his songs, his poems. And then because I was inspired by the words coming from the poem, siya yung gumawa ng ang tawag nito, uh, tumayo at tumayo ang mga iniiong umiibig, etc. Those, ano nga ba tawag ko? Famous pag February. So, di ba? That song, it comes from lyrics. So, wala talaga siyang process, Maxine, except that there is only one thing. You follow the heart, follow your heart, follow the music where it leads you. Yun nga lang, ako kasi medyo ang dami kong trabaho. Siyempre, the mission of God is clearer to me. Sometimes gusto kong umupo sa piano pero nasa gitna ako ng Zoom. Alam mo yon? Alam nga, excuse me, tutugtog muna ako, di ba weird? so sometimes it's just like that, no? But you know, God works that way. There is a certain thing about our hearts that that compels you. So I guess it's the same thing with many composers, I guess.
Yes, I've written songs too, and I understand the feeling. Like at the most random moments, that's when a story for lyrics will come up, or a melody, like in the middle of the night when you're about to sleep and you're like, wait, I need to write this down. I need to record
Yeah.
this. Yes, and another thing I wanted to ask also, a while ago you mentioned the youth group you have and the music you sing together and how welcome they all feel despite having different beliefs. Lately, for some weird reason, I've had a lot of friends come up to me and talk to me about that, like how they look for places that will make them feel welcome regardless of what they believe in, mostly because they want to find God again. So, for someone my age, what can I tell them, or how can I help them feel that openness that you have in your group?
The first thing that is important is conversation. Okay, di ba? I mean, in a conversation, or as Bian said, stories. Stories are very inclusive. Uh, stories are really very inclusive because no matter the story, once the person whose story comes, once the person's stories is shared, you begin to appreciate that person, and also appreciate the uniqueness of that person. And at the same, therefore, if you want it to be like music, you appreciate the highs and lows of the notes. You might have the same chords, okay, but then there are many. If you have the C F G pattern, for example, there are many songs that are C F G pattern, except that they're different songs. You see, so it's if I let's take music as our image. I think welcoming people is that, no, music cuts across our differences, and I think if there is one way to bring people together, that's music. If there's one way to bring people who are different from each other, give them, you know, music is important. Siyempre binabanggit ko naman, hindi naman ako endorser ng BTS, but the permission to dance is really something. You know, because whoever you are, whatever you are, just appreciate who you are. We can all dance together. I mean, including us, please. Why not? Who will tell me not to dance? Diba?
Yes.
Okay, so you know, I think conversation is important, Maxine. In my ministry, you have to give space for people to speak out. I think gone are the days that you don't want them to speak up because they have a different idea. I don't think so. I think we are enriched because we have a lot of ideas and different angles, and that would make things more exciting. I think that's the beauty and the color of music. But then you have to listen also. If you look at the music, there's a high going up and down, right? A note has to give itself up for another note to be played. If that note continues all throughout, it's called noise. Diba? Sometimes a note has to rest so that another note can be played. Ganon din ang relationship. You know, sometimes you just have to listen, give rest to yourself, stop talking, and begin to listen so that that person can also play his own life.
Wow, we're kind of speechless there, you know.
Yeah, that became
Oo,
really, really
ah.
deep.
It, di ba? Parang from the music, it's, well, yun na nga, di ba? We're kind of speechless. But anyway, Father, siguro balik tayo dun, since we're talking about ministry. Now you are engaged in Ateneo de Manila, in Davao rather. Ano po yung current ninyong ministry now? You said earlier it's on with the youth. So this is more of a parang ano ba to? It's like a
Yes. Well,
minute.
I'm in charge of formation in the whole university. And it's called the Ignition Spirituality and Formation Office. And we're talking about formation, you're talking about people, both the young, syempre, and the adults. I mean, that's the faculty, etc., etc. So there are two clientele. I mean, if you put it that way. What is the work really? Well, just imagine two spaces in a school: the classroom and the spaces outside of the classroom. The classroom is the academic part, okay? And then my work is outside of the classroom because when it is a school, all the spaces there are teaching spaces. For example, a club is a teaching experience. Okay, a mass inside a school is also a learning experience. Okay, because what you want is for them to experience God. So in Ateneo de Davao, for example, we have three worships simultaneously. So you have a Catholic worship at Mass, and then simultaneously you have a Muslim worship and you have a non-Catholic worship because we are inclusive. Okay, so ganon. So my work is senior high school also. So first of all, students. The second are also the faculty members, and many of the members of the faculty staff are also in a way in the bracket of the young kasi they're still 39 and below. So mga ganon. That is why youth ministry is indeed a good way of saying what formation is all about. So kasama dito ay mental health, spiritual development, social um, social development, and also leadership. Basically, those four aspects are under me. So there, I'm able to use everything that I've experienced in JMM now. For example, when you do youth ministry, you've got to have a creative team, right? Okay. And what do I mean by a creative team? It's like putting all the creative people in JMM and they're like cats. Why cats? They're like herding cats because you cannot herd cats. Hindi sila parang sheep na pwede mo silang iganon. Okay? And then we all go this way. Hindi. Ang creatives, mayroon silang tendency na pumunta kung saan-saan ganyan. So to manage a creative team will require a different skill. I learned a lot of those things in JMM. First of all is managing artists. Okay. Ang tingnan mo, iba-ibang flavor. So there are flavors. Iba-ibang flavor na bukas palad, ibang tunog nila. Therefore, if as a group, iba din yung kanilang character. Okay? Pag tinanong mo ang hangad, iba din yung kanilang character, iba din yung tunog nila. Pag tinanong mo ang himig swita, iba din. Iba-iba kasi talaga ang bawat artist at ang bawat grupo. No one is far better than anyone. I want to tell that even though some people will claim that they're far better than another, we do not want that to happen. But to get to appreciate the uniqueness of each group. And I think that would be the challenge for them to appreciate that another group is also as important and doing the work of God as they do the work of God. So ganon, iba-iba, ang hirap nilang i-manage. Mahirap i-manage ang creative team. But you can manage it in such a way that, for example, you give them creative space. Diba? For example, nabanggit ko sa Twitter ko at saka sa Facebook, how are songs chosen? Do you know, guys, that some songs are given to a specific group like Bukas Palad. However, they have a different sound. So if your composition will fit their sound, they get it. Okay. Of course, with a group of people who is their standard. For example, Father Manoling is really Bukas Palad. So the standard of his barkada. The second, you have the standard of Hangad. It's also different. So if any song, for even if a Jesuit composed it, for example, one song I will not anymore mention was given to Bukas Palad but was rejected, but given to another group and it soared in that group. You see, that it tells us about the uniqueness again of different groups, and to manage them is kind of difficult, di ba? But it is also rewarding. Okay, di ba? Even within it, I have experience as JMM, for example, that ikaw ipapaturo, ikaw nagtuturo, pinagpawisan ka na sa kakaturo sa lahat ng choirs. Di ba? Ganyan. Pagkatapos mo magturo, ikaw na nagturo ng lahat-lahat na. Meron ng ibang taong pupunta dyan para mag-conduct o mag-kwan. Pero, matagal na meron ng credit grabbing. So, matagal na yon. So, mga ganon. Yung tipong, so isipin mo, is this for me? Is this for God? Is it for someone else? Mabuti tinuro ako ng nanay ko na, Jboy, pag nagtutugtog ka sa misa, para sa Diyos, hindi para dun sa paring nagmimisa. Lagi ko yung inaalala. Yung tipong you are also struggling with yourself, even with your psychological makeup. Dati noon, because someone wanted to be acknowledged, so kaya lang di naman siya masyadong trabaho anyway. Nagalit pa sa akin, tinapunan ako ng ballpen. Mabuti hindi tinamaan yung mata ko. Alam mo yung gano'n na dadaanan mo bilang JMM director, tapos ikaw yung director, hindi naman siya. So hindi, alam mo yung mga gano'n, yung tipong dadaan ka din ng personal struggles as director, as in a creative team. But di ba? So yung heartaches, that's what people don't know. Behind all of those albums are a lot of struggles of many people at the back of those things. Di ba?
Correct.
Every song, for example, di ba? Every song, si tipong ikaw nandyan ka na para sa recording, ikaw na yung nandyan, hindi ka na natutulog, umaga ka natutulog, pero gagawin lang ng isa, ibibigay mo sa kanya, papakinggan niya. Pagkatapos doon, siya yung, gano'n. So, sasabihin mo ba, am I selfish? Do I need to be acknowledged? Or what? Isn't it unjust also and unfair? That's the back of a lot of things. There is a lot of struggle that comes with serving God. That's also the same thing what I said, that even dioceses banned us kasi nga we have these people who are saying that we are not liturgical. Yung mga ganun ba, parang haters, trolls, ganyan. We were banned by some dioceses. I will not mention them anymore. But then I would always say, bahala na mga tao. If they want to sing our songs, let them sing it. Well, what I heard is that the choir sang our songs, of course. But I also understand why they want to promote their own songs. So I also understand that part. No? But you want to promote, of course, your own music. So it's difficult to market religious merchandise. Di ba? Ang hirap kahit sa vlogging, ang hirap kapag religious content.
Alam natin yan, Father.
Kahit ano pang gawin mo talaga, ang hirap kapag religious ka. Ang hirap nun. Pero ang nakakalungkot lang, na minsan, yung mismong dapat tumulong sa'yo kasi simbahan, sila din yung nang-block sa'yo. Alam mo yan? Yun yung mga some of the realities, I think, and stories behind many of our music. Pero I think we have to acknowledge the challenges behind our passion to serve God and to serve His people. You see, some groups we like their songs, some groups we like another genre, another group would like more classical, another group would be. If you want to be able to serve everybody, you just have to have different artists catering to them. And we just hope that they will buy our songs. Diba? Because our songs, hindi pinipilit. They have to like our songs because it's not us. It's about God telling us, maybe this song can speak about your spirituality. Well, the ganong type, no? I think we have to put in a human face
Yeah.
to our brand,
Yeah.
JMM. We're not all,
That's
Yes.
it's
true.
not all about heaven, you know. If
Yes,
you think
yes,
everybody's
yes.
cooperating, that's not true. But it's
Mhm.
very human. And I
Mm.
think our songs tells us about those struggles, di ba? So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
ganon. Ang dami ko na
Fad-
sinabi ba? Ganyan.
Father, ang dami ko nakarelate dun sa mga kinuwento mo kanina. Ang dami, parang mga naka-bullet points sa isip ko yung mga binanggit mo kanina.
Yeah.
Pero
But
siguro,
Lester, you know,
apo,
when I talk personally to choir, that's another thing about ministry. In JMM, our artists are not just artists. They are also our mission. We have to take care of
Yes.
them,
Agree.
including their spiritual life, their
Agree.
psycho-emotional life, what is happening to them. They are not just people who record. There are people with lives and offering their lives to the ministry. Diba? We
mhm.
cannot even compensate financially what they are contributing because to them it's service. Then we have to
Yes.
take care of them also, being with them in their lives. Alam mo yun, I think that is important, and it is important they are also able to pray the songs. It is not just about performing it, but to use the songs as part of their prayer. Because only
Mhm.
when you are able to understand the song, that it becomes a prayer when you sing it. But becoming a prayer when you sing it, does that mean low quality? In fact, that is
Mhm.
unjust to God who has given you a better talent to give out quality service.
Mhm.
So parang ganon yung,
Yes. Apo.
Oh.
dead air. Oh,
Dead
may
air na naman tayo.
energy tayo.
Hindi
Father,
kasi,
you had so many mic drop moments.
oh. Pero Father,
Sinasalo muna namin lahat.
akala ko akala ko all this time, coaching session
Oo.
siya with the directors, di ba? Parang director sa director, di ba? Alam ko
Les,
coaching
alam mo na.
session,
Parang counseling session.
Oo nga eh. Parang
Mentorship.
ito na yung wish list ni Father Jboy.
Correct.
Oh,
Anyway,
maraming
Father,
sugat dyan, Lester.
Father, hindi,
Okay, sorry.
since, na rin naman, we are, kumbaga, somehow reminiscing, siguro 3 things that you miss about JMM.
The best
I miss the
memories,
The best
company.
Father.
memories of JMM for you. 3.
First of all, I miss the company more than anything else. Ayun, sorry, naiyak tuloy ako. My
Oh.
God.
We love you, Father Jboy.
I love you too. I
Yes.
really
Naiyak
miss
din
the
ako.
company.
Mm.
I remember in JMM, we would eat together, we kwento together. Di ba, Bian, remember?
Nap together.
Yeah. The good thing about ministry, it is not just always in the mindset of service. The good thing about ministry, it is because it is in the mindset of friendship. Di
Mhm.
ba? We create good music because we're friends. You just can't imagine if the musicians are not friends. Diyos ko.
Mhm.
Diyos
Diyos
ko
ko
talaga. They will not be able to create melodies that's really good hearing because part of playing an instrument is to be able to listen to the other instruments. Di ba? Parang ganon. I think JMM is also like that. I always would look forward to saying hi to people, to bardagulan. Alam mo yung mga yung mga all our nonsense conversations. But
Mhm.
it's ironic that the closer you are to the person, the more nonsensical your conversations are. But it is not that which matters because it's not a webinar. When you are with a friend, it's not a webinar. You
Mhm.
enjoy the company, and that's what I miss. I miss the musicians, sina Silke, sina ano, 'di ba, sa mga sina Roma sa lahat na sa Canto 5, 'di ba? They're all everywhere already. They're all around the world, no? So I miss that company of artists. Because it's a different thing when you're in an academic institutions. Okay, the language is different in an academic institution. But in
Mhm.
JMM, I would remember telling Carlo or kami ni Mike, sabi namin, Carlo, pwede mo bang paiyakin ang violin mo? Yung part na yan, dapat umiiyak, ganyan. Yung mga ganun, pag academic yan, ha? Ha? Ganyan, nga. Hindi nila maintindihan kung ibig sabihin nun, di ba? Kaya, di ba, nagganito yung tunog niya, ang hirap nun. So, the language is also different. That's why I think friendship is there because of the language. So missing all of those things. People, the first thing. The second thing, I miss music. With great musicians. No, I will not say anything else, but except that really missing music with really great musicians. Yung tipong you can talk about a piece, you can talk about with all of those using musical terminologies na hindi ka titingnan na parang ano yan? What's that? Ganyan. Yung ganyan, kailangan mo din naman kausap bilang musician na meron kang kausap na musician din. Alam mo yon, yung naghahanap din ako ng ganon. So nami-miss ko yung pag-August, prepare na tayo para sa Christmas concert. Pero ang gusto ko doon, kasi tugtugan yun eh. Kinukorek natin yung notes, pagpangit yung notes, di ba ganon? Dito hindi. Kasi nga, iba yung con. So nakaka-miss yun to be working with really good artists. No? Yun ang nakaka-miss. I miss even the concert na going from one mall to the other.
Oh,
At
wow,
biglang,
yes.
di ba naalala mo yun? Tapos biglang, naalala ko na biglang, walang hoso. Hello everybody!
Oh my
How are you? And
God!
welcome
Totoo.
to the Jesuit Music Ministry Christmas Concert! Yung mga gano'n, nakakamiss yun. Alam mo yun, yung hosting it while you have foot traffic, while in Mega Mall or Shangri-La. And we have our concert even in saan mga ba to? Sa Makati, Santo Niño.
Sa Glorieta.
Sa
Yes, sa church na
Glorieta, all of
nandoon
those.
sa Glorieta. The malls, my gosh.
Yes, and also working with JMM and also great artists in the music industry, like working with Noel Cabangon. I remember Aiza Sigera. I remember all of this. Lahat tayo nag-a-appear-appearan tayo. Bituin, Escalante, di ba? All the great voices. I remember organizing a concert, Pasko na, in UP Theater, di ba, with the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra. So imagine, no, I even cannot in my life, when I was younger, imagine that I will be able to do those things. It's really, to me, that is the religious experience that I'm talking about. A religious experience doesn't have to be within the church, you know.
Yep.
That's when I felt that I am empowered. That's when I felt that my talent is important. That's when I felt that my opinion is important. That's when I felt, and that's when I felt other people also feel the same way, that they feel that they are also cared for and loved by God, and that their talents are acknowledged. Hindi lang yung tipo pag musicians, ganyan, tayo sila lahat kagad, parang ano lang kasi tumugtog lang sila. I don't think so. For us, they are not just musicians, but they are people whom we personally love and care for. So, and then third, namimiss ko, alam mo kung ano? Namimiss ko yung lugar.
Father, no, yung office talaga dati, dun sa second floor.
Saka yung feeling na nasa media institution ka, yung tipong may studio A, may studio B, kung doon ka maganyan. Yung hindi talaga siya academic institution, but nandun ka talaga sa tapos gabi bukas pa kasi may nag-recording, maririnig mo sila.
You're in the scenes, kumbaga, Father.
Yung mga behind the scenes, gano'n.
Yeah. Father, it's wonderful na kasi parang na rin tayo biglang nag-walk down sa memory lane, ano. But I like the three things that you miss the most because it truly embodies the spirit then of JMM, how we see it inside, ako po, and how other people see it. Kasi there's friends, it's very inclusive, there's music, of course, and there's like a space where we invite collaborators na naging friends na rin natin hanggang ngayon, nakakatrabaho pa natin. And you can see that JMM is really growing with the different directors, and now, of course, with Lester and Puiri and Justin, and with the whole, dito po sa JMM, the ministry itself and JMM Radio. Since we have this growth already, kumbaga parang inumpisahan nyo na, Father, nung panahon ninyo andyan na you got the ball rolling coming from like being a JMM director before and seeing it grow na from a distance, kaya we miss you, Father. How do you see JMM growing pa in the
Well,
future?
I think first of all, I think JMM should move forward. What does that mean? I think we have to. It's not that the old songs are bad, no. It's just I think we have to create new songs, and to encourage people to create new songs and not to rely on the Jesuits. Okay, but to rely to because there are many composers. All you have to do, I think, is to help them out, improve on their music, and I think they will appreciate it. For example, I appreciate Panunumpa because one of the people who improved on the song is Paulo Tirol. Okay? Yung may meron siyang last, yung mayroong kang tarararara, tapos ganyan. Merong chord diyan na si Paulo 'yon. Parang yung G major 7 yata.
G major 7.
Hindi ako yun eh. Si Paolo yun. Biglang nag-iba yung tunog niya. Isang dagdag lang, nagbago yung ambiance.
Color. Yung color ng music.
Yes. Yung color. Nagbago yung ethos ng music. So, di ba, yung people, I think part of JMM can be about coaching other composers and not to rely on Jesuits alone. In fact, now we're saying that everyone is a partner. So everyone is so if you have a Jesuit lay collaboration, that would be great. Okay. So what I'm saying is that first of all, I think JMM should think current, should think contemporary, should think now and not the 1980s or the 1970s or the 2000s. Okay. I think many of us Jesuits live in those eras. But then it has to move on because I think maturity, even for us Jesuits, means to be able to let go and to let other people compose for us. Okay, because Ignatian spirituality is actually a spirituality for lay people. It has been written by Saint Ignatius when he was still a lay person. Okay, so really, it's really far. That's the one thing. It has to be current. The second thing, it has to be immersive. That is the new thing now. What do we mean by immersive? That means people feel that they're part of it.
Yeah.
You know, hindi siya na yung tipong top down. Ito gawa ko, gawin nyo. Pero baka pwedeng collaboration, even virtually, ang isang kanta. Di ba? Pwede naman, supposed to be immersive. When it is immersive, then you know that you are bringing the world to that song. And there will be a potential in terms of that song to be liked by many people because it has been collaborated on. Okay? The third thing, I think it has to be environment driven. Not driven by some Jesuits only. Okay? It has to be driven by the environment. Where is God and what sound is now becoming God's song? Kumbaga, today, with Generation Z or Generation A, baka doon na, di ba? You can look at, and then you can do FGDs, you can do evaluations, you can ask people to before releasing a song. I think that's very important that we can also be data driven in our
digital age then.
Or even decision making in terms of media. I think we have to be like that because kung we are always stuck in the past, we will suddenly be irrelevant. Okay, and we do not want to do that. Music is supposed to be relevant to people's lives. And what life today? So is there music that is about the pandemic? Is there music that speaks about the struggle of people during the pandemic or their experience of God or their non-experience of God during the pandemic? Alam mo yung ganon, yung tipong, so that kind of ear is needed, I think, in JMM to make JMM sail through the signs of the times. I think that would be forward-looking, to let go of many of our egos, but let the spirit move the people in JMM. In other words, what is important for JMM is to be able to really pray. Why? Because this is the Jesuit spirituality. It's always action oriented. Diba? It's always what next? What more can I do? The magis. What more can I do? So experiment, and to experiment, that would need courage. If you experiment on the songs, that will need courage. Why? You get Jesuit trolls, you have church trolls, you have other people trolls. Okay, you have all sorts of things who will try to say something about that music. But I think you have to have a high EQ to be able to take all of those and see whether they're speaking the truth, diba? And
Mhm.
tweak it accordingly. That's why evaluations are important in Jesuit spirituality. So because we want to improve on songs. So our songs can be dynamic. So you can begin with people so that, when it is really thrown out there, someone will pick it up. So, di ba? Parang ganon. I think
Mhm.
those things are important.
Amen. Wow,
Wow, well
grabe,
said.
Father. Sabi mo kanina, you're not a true blue. You're someone who's colorful. Dito nakikita na natin that it's a very colorful future of
Yes,
JMM in your soul. So
yes.
thank you for sharing that with us, Father.
Mm.
Les.
You're welcome.
Yes, well said, Father. Grabe. Nako, maraming salamat, Father, for giving us this opportunity of hearing your thoughts, no. Naalala ko tuloy nga yung 'di ba, since we are celebrating the Ignatian year, 'di ba, we have the provincial the thrusts, 'di ba, yung the universal apostolic references na walking with the youth
Yes.
and also promoting Ignatian spirituality, which I think is this is a good our ministry is a good kumbaga a good vehicle for that, no, for those two thrusts. Kaya I think with that, maraming salamat po muli, Father Jboy, for guesting here in JMM Radio. Of course, sa uulitin, Father, no, huwag kayong magsawang uh, sumama sa amin sa ating mga kwentuhan tungkol sa JMM. Ayan. Yes, maybe you have any announcements for us?
Yes, we have a couple of announcements here. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. We are on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Ang handle po natin at Jesuit Music Ministry, and sa YouTube, that's Jescom Music and Jescom TV. And then this coming Friday, we are releasing an album for the 500 years of Christianity, which is entitled Gifted to Give. And kasama po dito yung carrier single, which is a composition of Archbishop Soc Villegas and our national artist, Maestro Ryan Kebyab, with revisions from the late Father Tim of Rasho and Dom Bulan SJ, and arranged by Yvonne de Guzman, sung by over 100 voices. Ayan, abangan po ninyo this Friday on all digital music platforms. And then the virtual choir video will premiere in our Facebook page on Saturday, 8 p.m. And next week, abangan po ninyo. Today we have Father Jboy. Next week, we will have another JMM director, si Father Ernald Andal SJ. Ayan.
Yes, pakakaabangan yan. And of course, maraming salamat din po sa lahat ng nakinig at na sumama sa ating kwentuhan ngayong gabi. We'd just like to give a shout out to a couple of them. Hello, Raisa Martinez. Hello. We also have Jason Gonzales. Bumabati sa inyo, Father Jboy.
Kapatid ko yan eh.
Ayan.
Sino
Ayan,
Ona?
Kapatid
sina
ko yan.
Rona Bailon, Eric Vibar, si Miss Rosario Cunanan. Ayan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. At muli,
And-
yes, go ahead, yes.
Just, baka meron lang gustong i-plug si Father Jboy or any greeting that he would like to say? Father?
Yes, Father, go
sige,
ahead.
sige. As you know, I do my ministry also in the internet. So, follow nyo po. Jboy Gonzales SJ yun po yung aking handle all throughout. So pare-pareho lang. So
On
Jboy
Facebook.
Gonzales SJ on Twitter, Instagram, and it's also my YouTube channel. You'll get to see many videos, and many of those videos are about mental health because what I'm placing there are also for many students and parents. So there.
Yan.
Yes.
Salamat.
Father, dapat may TikTok ka na rin.
Oo nga.
Yes,
Kita naman, Father, na ang mga
meron-
handles mo very pang young, di ba?
We
Yan,
support
nag-aaral
that.
ka.
We
Actually,
support that.
magkakaroon ng TikTok.
Oh,
But
abangan.
as you know, we have to conceptualize the TikTok because
Yes.
I want it to be more into the educational, inspirational, and entertaining TikTok. Because of course, I don't want to be like, so meron siyempre meron kang siyempre look kasi kahit paano, I'm a priest, and at the same time, I'd like people to experience also that, being a priest is a happy thing. It is not all about enduring. There are people say, oh, Father, I hope you endure or you're persevere. But I'm telling them, I'm not persevering. I'm not enduring it because I'm enjoying my vocation. So I'd like to share that on TikTok that
Yes.
that we are enjoying our vocation, but at the same time, we're not also going to that part when it's already cringy. You know what I mean? So, diba? So
Yeah.
we're going to
Yes.
conceptualize my TikTok first before
Ako.
I start.
Pakaabangan po
Hashtag
natin yan. Oo.
New evangelization.
Yes.
Mhm.
Ayan. Okay. Ayan. So, abangan po namin yan, Father, yung TikTok na yan. Okay. Anyway, ayan, muli maraming salamat po sa ating panauhin ngayong gabi, si Father Jboy Gonzales SJ. And of course, watch out next week for our next episode, which of course we will be having Father Ernald Andal SJ, another JMM director, through as we feature of course the JMM throughout the years. Ayan. Maraming salamat po muli. Hanggang sa susunod na Miyerkules, ito po si Justin Pontino ng Radyo-Katipunan.
Ating mga guest hosts.
This is Be of Minded.
Yes.
This is Max from New Wave.
Ako po si Lester Mendiola mula sa Jesuit Music Ministry. Sa ngalan po ng aming mga kasama dito sa JMM Radio na sina Judith, Chris, at Adam, at ni James, iiwanan po namin kayo ng awit mula sa Ginintuan celebrating 50 years of Jesuit music, ang Entrance Song Medley. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat at magkita-kita po tayo muli sa Miyerkules. Good night, everyone!
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo-Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela.